Hi there. Hey, thank you so much for joining me today on the marketing stream. I'm Vicki O'Neill, your Plateau to Grow marketer and also founder of Ken K Marketing. Today, I'm going to review some tips that you can take and put into practice in order to help plan your business for success between now and the end of the year. As we know, today is Thursday, September 30th, 2020, which is the last day of Q3 and the last day to make things happen for Q3 and then also prepare for Q4 and year end. So we're wrapping it up and starting to get towards the end of the year and hitting those numbers that we planned on either at the beginning of the year or when we modified them with everything that happened with COVID. So hopefully you guys did that and you are ready to kick butt between now and the end of the year. So I'm going to review some things that you can do to prepare your business for a successful year-end blowout, year-end results, just year-end. How's that sound? I want to say hi to a couple people. I know Andrew with Consult a Blind Guy is here. He's multitasking as usual. I don't know how he does it, but he is doing that successfully. So thank you, Andrew, for being here. And then also, awesome. Looks like Gabriel is here from Made from Scratch Broadcast, getting ready to stream on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn Live. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here, Gabe. I appreciate it. And let's see here. I'm trying to read this too. Yes, I'm keeping busy for sure. The official beginning to the live streaming challenge tomorrow. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Andrew has his own live streaming show as well on Mondays at 3 p.m. Eastern time, if I'm remembering that correctly, Andrew. Let me know in the comments, but I believe that's the time frame that you have your live show. And then Gabe from Made from Scratch Broadcast, he goes live every single day. I think that's on the weekends too, if I'm not mistaken. Gabe, if you want to let me know that as well. So thank you so much for being here. If you're watching the replay, that's awesome too. I just appreciate your time and investing it in my content. So thank you very much. If you're new here, don't forget to hit subscribe and the bell notification so you know when new content is uploaded every Thursday. And then also when I go live every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. No problem. Happy to help and learn on double duty. Yes, you definitely are. Again, I don't know how you do it, Andrew. Okay, so what I'm going to review are some tips that you guys can put into practice, or just some things to think about between now and probably the next couple of weeks, just because if you want to plan a successful year end in your business, whether you're working for a company, if you're working for a small business, or if you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, these are just things to think about. Because life is so chaotic and crazy right now, sometimes we lose track of time, right? Because we're so busy and we have our heads buried in our work and trying to make things happen that we lose track and forget to get things done, or don't necessarily plan the way that we need to in order to set ourselves up for success. So hopefully these things will help you kind of lift your head, think about things a little bit, and reevaluate if you need to make any changes in your business in order to hit those numbers before the end of the year. So, and then also stick with me until the end. I've got a few things two things I want to share with you, but then one thing I want to get your thoughts on. So I've got some change coming up temporarily. So I want to get your guys' thoughts on that. Again, if you're watching the replay, you can leave your comments below this video as well. If you have questions, I will answer them after the video is uploaded and I can see them. All right, so the first thing is we're all probably tracking and monitoring our results, right? Hey, Michael's here. Awesome. Oh, real quick before I get into this. Michael Glover's here. Thanks, Mike, for joining. I appreciate it. And then Andrew did confirm it's Monday, at 3 p.m. and then also Thursdays at 5 p.m. Okay, I need to put that one on my calendar. Okay, I will do that. Thank you for confirming, Andrew. I appreciate that. All right, so let's get into this. We are tracking our progress, right? We set goals at the beginning of the year. If you had to change them at some point because of COVID, you had to pivot your business, it's likely that you also had to revisit your goals and make any changes that you needed to based on the circumstances of this unfortunate COVID events that we've had going on this year. So hopefully you've done that. But what I like to kind of visualize with my clients, or just in blog posts or in any situation, is when you're thinking about your goals or just results that you want to achieve. When just think about, like, a lot of times we tend to put things off, right? We're either too busy, something else came up, we don't have time, we forgot about it. And a lot of times we're just like, that's okay, we'll get to it later. What I like to do is visualize myself, my business, what it looks like today, and if I could actually make that thing happen, right? So if it's creating an online course, if I want to get that done by the end of the year and all of a sudden I don't have time planned for it, what's my business going to look like on January 1st? Am I going to be happy with the fact that I didn't get that done? So I always like to have people visualize either their life or their business or their situation and look at it and say, am I going to be happy with it if I don't get this done? Or if I am going to be happy with it, then that's okay. Maybe it wasn't a priority, or maybe it was something you didn't need to get done to begin with. So look at what your business looks like today and then visualize yourself in your business on January 1st, January 2nd, and say, am I going to be okay with things as they are, or planned out the things that I want to achieve in order to be okay with starting out 2021 on that foot, right? So, and that could be anything from your business in general. If you've got employees that you need to hire or employees on your team, are those in place the way that you want them to be? Or if you look at it from a marketing and sales perspective, are you generating the lead volume that you want? What about the lead quality? What about the lead conversion? What about the sales and the revenue and the profits? What about website traffic or your presence on social media, your sales process? So there's different things in your business that you need to evaluate and just visualize January 1st, 2021. Am I going to be okay with my business as it is today, or based on these things I want to accomplish in Q4? If I get them done, what's my business going to look like then? And then how am I going to set myself up for success in 2021? So those are just some things to think about. Also visualizing that if you're in a point in your business right now where you might need to put some marketing automation into place, then that's something to think about as well. Of course, that's going to depend on resources and your budget dollars and who's going to be able to help you with that. If you're going to be doing it yourself, what are the opportunity costs? So think about those types of things. Where can you streamline what you're doing today, and how can you make it better in order to make space in your calendar, in your business, and in your life in order to do those other things that you want to do? Okay, so sometimes it just takes that visualization piece of it and just imagining what it's going to look like on that day and evaluating what's on your plate now and what you might need to change in order to make that happen. Okay, so that was number one, visualize. The second thing is I kind of mentioned this already, is about scheduling and planning. So Q4 tends to be really busy for all of us, right? So we've got October, November, December. Starting in November, we have holidays. December's full of holidays. And I don't know about you, but when I was working in the corporate world years ago, the last 2 weeks of December, no one's ever around. So you kind of lose those last 2 weeks of productivity. Now that's great if you're an entrepreneur and you're using that time to finalize reports and prepare for 2021 and put things into place. Then that's okay, because now you're not going to have all the interruptions of phone calls and emails and all the other things that come up. But if you're relying on other people during those last 2 weeks of the year, last 2 weeks of December, chances are it's going to be really tough to get a hold of people or get any action to be taken on those items. So you just need to factor that in. So when you're looking at scheduling and planning your time, the first thing to do is look at Q4 in each of the months and block off time that it's not going to be productive. And then you start looking at different events or different meetings or anything else that you have planned either personally or professionally, put it on the calendar. And when you start doing that, especially in Q4, you start realizing that you don't have as much time as you thought you did, right? So when you visualize, you know what you need to do, but you really need to leverage your calendar and plan it out so that you can see how much time you're actually going to have to achieve those goals and make it realistic so that you don't set yourself up to fail. Okay, so just look at the number of days and how you're actually going to have or make that happen. I'm going to go back to the comments real quick and see if I'm missing anything. It doesn't look like I am. Okay, good. Awesome. I'm going to keep going. The third thing is goals, right? So we plan goals, and if you may have modified them throughout the year, just like I mentioned earlier. So look at those from a business perspective. So it's not just having one set of goals. It's looking at, what are my business goals? What are my marketing goals? What are my sales goals? And making sure that those pieces are all lining up and that you're connecting the dots between them, right? So if you have a business goal of achieving, we'll just say $100,000 in revenue or $1 million in revenue, but your marketing activities aren't supporting how you're actually going to reach that. If it's not generating the call to actions, or if the sales aren't there, or if the lead quality isn't there, then you're not going to be able to hit that business goal. So it's looking at business goals, marketing tactics, where you're placing your messaging, what the call to action is, and looking at the lead quality and sales to make sure that you're set up with your current infrastructure to actually achieve those business objectives that you already have planned. Okay. And of course, making them SMART goals, right? So they're specific, they're measurable, they are achievable or actionable, they are realistic, and they're also timely. So they're time stamped. You have a deadline associated with them. If you have those 5 components tied to every single goal, then you're certainly going to be set up to succeed. The key then is just following through, right? That's the key. Okay, so the fourth thing is then just mapping it out. So you've got your goals, you've got your dates, you're looking at Q4. Now's the time to look at your marketing efforts, your content, your actions. It doesn't even have to be marketing related. It could be accounting related, and maybe you want to purchase an accounting software so you can make that process easier for your business. But look at those things and start mapping it out, right? So if you want to achieve it again by the end of the year, time's going to fly by, just like if you're multitasking. Andrew knows what I'm talking about. So you want to make sure that you map it out and all the pieces are there. And when you visualize it, then you're able to identify any gaps in that process, or it'll help uncover some things that maybe you hadn't thought about, right? And I'm real big on doing research. So if you're not sure, I mean, Google pretty much has the answers to everything, right? I mean, multiple answers for all different resources. So leverage the tools that you have available to you. And there's so many free ones out there besides Google that is just extremely helpful. Okay, and then the fifth one that I wanted to share with you guys is to amplify. So even though we're in Q4 and we're starting to wrap it up or start to narrow down what we're focusing on, because the amount of time that we have left in the year is minimal, and it's probably less than we realize, it's still important to amplify what we're doing. So I had mentioned that if you needed to look at your lead quality or lead quantity, just your overall marketing strategy, looking at kind of applying the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule, and looking at if you're not hitting your revenue goals yet, but you know that you can, then look at those leads that are coming in and converting at the highest rate. And if that's the case, then maybe you need to look at 20% of your leads that are generating the 80% of revenue, right? So if you look at all of your leads and you realize that 20% of them are converting at the highest rate from videos or podcast, then that's where you need to put more time and effort between now and the end of the year so that you can make sure that you hit your revenue goals. Same thing is true with like your leads. If you're not hitting your lead numbers, or you're not hitting your website traffic numbers, whatever those numbers are, just look at how you can kind of scale back on other things that you're doing that aren't producing the results that maybe you need it to, or that you thought it was going to, and put all your time and effort into those that actually are. You have the results, then start putting the effort into those items so that you can make sure that you're going to achieve your year-end results. Okay, so that can be in anything. It can be with your employees too, right? So if there's people on your team, whether they're employees or you're contracting work out, how can you leverage their talents? If you hired them for HR reasons, then if there's some people things that you're dealing with, is there a way that you can offset that to your HR person so that you can focus on more like business strategy type work and identifying if or how you can start growing your business. So those are the things that I wanted to review with you guys today. That's it on those things. I do have a blog post that I actually wrote last year. And when I pulled it up, it's actually still applicable to today. You just have to put in that whole caveat of COVID and looking at, if you haven't already gone back to your business objectives and modified them based on the new normal or the modified to new normal, because we're not there yet, but we're getting closer. That would be the only piece that isn't here, but everything still applies. And some of them are items that I had just reviewed. So what I'm going to do is share my screen with you real quick so that you can see this. Whoops, wrong one. So this is 10 things you must do to close 2019 strong. And again, these same things will apply for 2020. And this was written September of last year. So if you look at the items, evaluate your year-to-date progress and different things that you can do between, if you're below goal or ahead of goal, list the goals you need to achieve, identify the source that generated the most qualified leads. So this link to this blog post is actually in the, I already included it in the description. So if you guys want to access that, let me see if I put it in here. I'm not sure if I put it as a banner or not. I did not, but you can just go to the description of this video. And I did put that in there before this started. So you can access it from there. Or you can just go to my blog and it's got that image under blog as well. So however you guys want to do that, whichever is easiest for you. If you do want to walk through those different items, then that is a very helpful resource as well. All right. Okay. So the three things that I wanted to mention, let me find my notes, my desk, oops, I just dropped them. My desk is somewhat messy. I'm preparing for end of Q3 and beginning of Q4 too. So things are a little messy right now. But one thing I did want to mention, because I did mention it earlier here, like an example was if you're wanting to create an online course. There's so many people creating online courses that might be on your agenda or on your list of to-dos between now and the end of the year, but maybe you just don't know where to start. And this is actually only good through today. And this is what I just showed you when I went over here to show you the blog post. But Thinkific has this special going on right now that normally is $2,200 and it's now $99. And it's got this entire bundle of information, pretty much everything that you need to start an online course and launch it. The key here is by Black Friday, which is November 27th. So if starting an online course is something that you want to do, this is like a course that is going to help kind of put things into fast gear for you because they've already got everything together, right? So it's $99, but you get the first month of the Thinkific Pro included, plus the growth plan, 30 days of priority support. So I'm assuming that means that you go to the top of the list if you have questions or anything that you need help with when you're developing your course. Tools and training, developing your course strategy, designing an engaging course, creating the course content, marketing and selling your course, and then just resources to keep you inspired. So if you've researched that at all, you know it's very time consuming. And even though Diana Wilson, who's normally on here, she's on vacation this week, she will attest to this because she's an online course consultant. She actually helps people, she coaches them, in getting their online courses up and running. So if you haven't researched it already, you can reach out to her, but she will tell you, and I will tell you too, because I was doing it last year, is that it's very time consuming, a lot more time consuming than you would ever imagine. So if you're thinking of doing that, then I would encourage you to at least take a look at this package through Thinkific. The link's in the description below the video as well. I think I may have put that up here too. Well, let me check real quick. I did. I put that up here. So let me, yeah, there you go. It's bit.ly. So it's a bit.ly link, and then it's Vicki, Vicki, Rise This Fall. That's the name of the Thinkific program. It is an affiliate link, so I will tell you that up front. The thing is, if you are interested in pursuing a program like this, it's going to be the same cost to you, whether you go through my affiliate link or if you go directly through Thinkific. It's $2,200. That's only $99. So that's a huge discount. As you can see from the, here, I'll put this back up. As you can see from this, it's only good through the end of the day today. So midnight Pacific Standard Time. So that would be 3:00 a.m. if you're Eastern Standard Time. So you don't have a whole lot of time left, but if it's something that you've been thinking about doing, this might be one of those things that you just kind of say, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it happen. And you just say yes. And if you're like me, once you pay for something, then you're like, I need to get this done because I've already paid for it. And I want to start seeing the benefits of that purchase. So again, if that's one of your goals, this is a time, and I've done this before with podcasting in different situations too, is that if you're thinking about something, sometimes you just need that nudge, right? In podcasting, you have to research and do everything ahead of time to make sure it's the right decision for your business. But once you've made that decision and said, yes, it's right for my business, sometimes you just need that nudge to actually help you take that first step and actually make it happen. That's this opportunity. So if you've been wanting to start an online course and you wanted to get something up and running this year, this is a perfect opportunity to do that because it's not that expensive. And Thinkific is an awesome company that has all kinds of resources and they're super helpful. So keep that in mind. Again, it's only good through today. So that link is in the description below the video. Okay. All right. Now, speaking of podcasts, I'm not sure if you're a subscriber of my podcast or not. I didn't know that this was International Podcast Day today. And I released my podcast Monday or Tuesday, not knowing that, and it's about podcasting. And then my video tomorrow that I'm uploading here is about podcasting as well. I get a little passionate, which I typically don't do, but I've just heard too many high-level people say, everybody needs to start a podcast, and it's just not right for everybody. So if you're interested in hearing the details, I go into some details in the podcast that was released on Tuesday, or if you'd rather listen or watch the video, that'll be uploaded and released tomorrow. So if you're thinking about podcasting, I highly recommend that you listen to it because it's actually thinking through the process and what's involved. In fact, in the podcast audio episode that I released on Tuesday, I actually do a very quick, high-level breakdown between like the quickest scenario and a more time-involved scenario, just to kind of put some perspective on it. Because if somebody who's, a high-profile leader says, everybody needs to start a podcast, I put some realistic expectations around it, both there and tomorrow when the video is released. So if that's of interest, then I highly recommend that you do that. So it's just purely informational tips. There's even a way that you can access the checklist if you're interested. So how to get started, things that you need to do, that type of thing, that's included as well. So that'll be released tomorrow. And I will put that link in the description here since I'm mentioning it. Once that's published, I'll put it here as well. Okay, so the other thing that I wanted to mention, I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this. So I'm not sure how many people are watching right now. I don't know that counter is always 100% accurate. I'm gonna go back to comments real quick. I love Pat Flynn. He's freaking awesome. He is, Andrew. I learned so much from him. He is a wealth of knowledge, and I appreciate everything that he does. I will check them both out. Okay, awesome. I appreciate that, Andrew. And I've been working on repurposing some of my video content to prepare them for a podcast in the near future. Awesome. If that's the case, yeah, it sounds like you're already doing your research, Andrew. And you're thinking through the process, because it is a very time involved thing to do. So I just, I'm more along the lines of, if I can help people understand realistically what they're getting themselves into, then I'm going to do that, because I would rather share that with people, because I didn't know getting into it. I knew how to plan for it because I attended Pat Flynn's webinar on how to start a podcast. Super helpful. And then I haven't purchased his Power Up Podcasting course, but I've heard wonderful things about that too. So it's just a lot of work. I just don't think people think long term when they start a podcast. So it's good to hear that you are doing that, Andrew. Viewer count is never accurate. Thanks, Mike. I'm glad that you've experienced that too. It's 2, so there could be 2 here. I'm not sure. I know I've had more people in the comments before than it's said as the viewers, so I'm not sure. But I know that people come back and watch the replay as well, so it'll be good for that. So if you are watching the replay and you're not here live, this last piece is it's more fun than anything. And I want to get your guys' thoughts, because I'm not real sure what I should do with this. But so I'll do 2 more lives on Wednesdays. And then I'm actually going to be on vacation so I'm going to do a live on the 7th and the 14th, which are the Wednesdays. And then the 21st and 28th, I'm actually going to be on vacation. So, and my fiance and I are going to Hawaii if things open up, and if the flights don't get canceled, and if our hotels don't get canceled. As of right now, it's all still a go, but it's still up in the air. So at this point, flights have been booked, hotels been booked. We have plans of what we want to do over there, but any day it could be canceled. So we just don't know if we're actually going to be going, but that's the plan. So for 2 weeks, what I was originally thinking was just to go live, same time, which in Hawaii, I think it would be either 6 or 7 a.m., depending on the time difference. So it would still be 12 p.m. Eastern time for you guys. But for me, which I don't mind because I'm a super early bird anyway, I could get up, still do it on the time frame, and just do it from Hawaii. They would be short. I just want to make sure that I'm being consistent and following through with my commitment. They could be fun. I could be showing you something of the hotel, but they'll be short. They'll probably be like 10 or 15 minutes. Just to do something different and fun. It wouldn't be anything like this where it's teaching or, giving tips or anything like that. So that's one thought. Another thought that I had, and actually it was when Gabriel, who is here, he was here earlier, with Made from Scratch broadcast. Gabe here, he had mentioned this earlier not this directly, but he had mentioned it in a message about broadcasting my live stream to his audience. And I was like, oh, you know what I could do is I could see if anyone's interested in trying, somebody I know, obviously, and I would trust, to go live, almost be like a guest host on my channel. So it would need to be on a Wednesday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Talk about something business or marketing or, something fun, if you want to, but, something just to give live streaming a shot. Or if somebody here wants to, and you're already live streaming, if you want to do a guest host on my show, either one or both Wednesdays, I'd be open for that too. Or the third option would be just having like I think it's just like a plain, I'd have to find out how to do this because I'm not sure how to do this, but it would be just having something displayed on the screen, either with music going on behind the scenes or, have some type of video or something playing. It wouldn't be me, but it would still be live. So I'm also open to other suggestions. I'm mentioning this early enough that I could get some good thoughts, get some good suggestions, get a good idea of which direction I should take it. So I am open to that. So if anyone has any other ideas, whether you're here live or you're watching the replay, I would be more than open to that. Let's see here. Andrew, I wanted to attend the webinar, but didn't have the money to all the time. Oh, the webinar that Pat put on. Yeah, the webinar I think was free, but the course itself, what he calls PUP, the Power Up Podcasting, that was actually, I can't remember how much that was, but it was pretty pricey. he gives away so many tips and so much great information in his free webinar that it's a great place to start. And then once you start getting some momentum with your podcast, then you can go back and do the purchased program if you want to. But it's a lot of work, as you're probably finding out, to start a podcast. So he has great tips on, how to get audio clips to include in there, which will help people like get the word out about your podcast, and inviting guests and just that whole thing. So very valuable. Let's see here. Cool. You're on vacation for my birthday. You'll have to have some fun for me. When's your birthday, Andrew? I know it's obviously between October 15th and the 31st at some point, right? Actually, October 15th is one of my sister's birthdays. So we leave it on that day. I'll have to remember to tell her happy birthday. But yeah, let me know when your birthday is. Always wanted to go to Hawaii. Yeah, we actually went there 3 years ago with his company. So he works for a company that has sales trips. And we were there in March of 2017. It was my first time there, his first time there, and it was absolutely beautiful. We went to Oahu, which was our favorite. And then we went to Maui, which was where they were having the awards banquet, the whole reason why we were there. And then we went to the Big Island of Hawaii. So it was great. We're actually going to go back to Oahu. We're going to go back to the Big Island, and then we're going to hit Kauai because we didn't get a chance to go there. We've heard so many wonderful things about Kauai. So we are going to go to that island this time as well, hopefully, if all works out well and COVID doesn't keep us from actually going. We need a vacation. We need to get away. So, it's on the 16th. Awesome. So yours is I think that's a Friday. I think that's Friday the 16th. So awesome. Thank you so much for letting me know. I will put it on my calendar when we're done. All right. Thank you. All right. If you guys have any questions for me, leave them in the comments now. I am watching those before we part ways for this week. Hopefully that information I shared with you at the beginning was helpful. If you ever need help with any of that stuff, or if you want, I love coaching people and just helping them reach that next level in their business. Like, that's what I'm passionate about. I love helping people. So if that's something that you are interested in, just send me a message, either on your favorite social platform, or if you want to send me an email direct, it's Vicki, V-I-C-K-I, @VickiO'Neil.com. So that's an email that will come directly to me. And even if it's a question that you have about, what I do or how I help people or just anything in general, I'd be more than happy to answer it that way as well. All right. Well, I don't see any other questions. So I'm going to go ahead and say thank you so much for joining me today. I know that you guys have plenty of other things that you could be doing, and you could have chosen to invest this time someplace else with other people, but you chose to be here with me. So I am very grateful that you have done that. So thank you very much for doing so. If you are new here, please hit subscribe and that bell notification so you know when new videos are uploaded, as well as when I go live on Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget to hit the like button. And until next time, make today great. Thank you.